Good evening. Today I'm doing a quick video while I'm out in my shed prior to doing some undercoating of what collection I currently have for pretty much most of my game systems. So to start off with, as you can see, I've got a pretty good Imperial Forces, two ISDs, one of course being the Chimera and a normal, Interdictor, Quasar, Gladiator. Now these two here, this one, and then this one are both Dreadnought class heavy cruisers done by Mel's Shapeway, as well as one of my previous orders. I got two of these Lancer class frigates. Generally I run them basically as the same as a Raider at this moment in time, unless they bring out a special rules. The other one I've got for Imperials, which is slightly different than normal, is this Nebula B frigate. It is done by a person by the name of E.C. Henry, who designed what a actual Nebula B for the Imperials would have been like prior to being it modified by the Rebel Alliance. I think it's a really nice model, and I have enjoyed putting it on the table a couple of times, sort of thing, either as a an Imperial Artican spare, or in actual fact a Rebel that's just been got shield techs, additional shield techs. Over here I've got my Rebels. Again, from Mel's Shapeway, I purchased a modified CR90. I believe this is from the game Star Wars Empire at War. You would get this type of CR90 as part of the mercenary faction. Another CR90 there, painted up to look like one of the Kremlin Corvettes from the Rebels TV series. Two Profundi MC-75s. Couple of capital ships. And another one from Mel's Shapeway. I got a 3 combat hammerheads, corvettes. And I've painted them up in different colors. As you can see, the original Hammerhead Corvette from FFG is based upon the Star Wars Rebel TV series, while the combat one from Mel's Shapeway, it does look more like the version that you would see from Rogue One, with the 4th engine turret up the top, as well as a gun turret in the middle there. Got a Starhawk, and I do have a few other ships that are currently in boxes or put away, simply because I ran out of time to put everything on since it's late. I'll just briefly show you this. This is my tray tracker for my ships. The card upgrade cards are only for version 1, but it's just as easy to put cards underneath it. Most people here in Australia have both version 1 cards and also the new version 2 cards, sort of thing. Bought this one and 2 others from a company called Battle Kiwi over in New Zealand. Actually found it quite handy to get it across from New Zealand, rather than purchasing a rather large order for 3 of them through the other Etsy type shops. I did purchase this, which is my token tracker through Etsy. And as you can see, I've got all of the tokens there. There's the chaff down there, fleet tokens, fleet command. These are actually magnetic, so they can actually go on to my ship stands. As you can see, they split apart like so. And then all I just need to do is to grab a stand like so. And as you can see, it's now magnetized and it looks pretty good as the flagship. Yeah. So some people may ask, what other games have I been into? Well, for a couple of years, prior to, unfortunately, the company folding, I was a big Spartan vanguard for here in Australia. I actually did demonstrations for Halo, Fleet Battles, and also you'll see Fleet Battles Ground Command shortly at PAX Australia about 4 or 5 years ago now. It might even be 6 years ago. To a huge success. A lot of people interested. Unfortunately, due to the fact that the company folded soon after, there wasn't too much that I could sort of do. So there are a few of the ground command. I still will bring them out on occasion to play, but unfortunately there's not too many people in the area still interested. Other games that I play, well, I play Italian bolt action, British late war for Flames of War, and also for mid and early war British. I do a fair bit of Blood Bowl, that's my first love, and still enjoy it quite a lot. I do use quite a lot of older metal models. As you can see, these are one of my main factions, some Chaos Dwarves, and this one is a converted assistant coach. You can see I've just changed the helmet instead of it being a just a round dome. I've sort of customized it a little bit to make it look like a football. I use quite a lot of Games Workshop models and Kings of War models for either fantasy games or even RPGs. I also do Drop Zone Commander. And recently, with Spartan now being taken over by Wayland Games, I've also been looking at Wild West Exodus, which is basically a tabletop skirmish game based in the Wild West. That's that one is Wide Up, apparently. Yeah. And it's got a distinctive sort of steampunk look to it. These are my Dystopian Wars, some of my Dystopian Wars faction. The top up here are the British Crown faction. And these are all older Spartan models, these ones here. Same thing, that's the Covenant of Antarctica, a terrain piece, an oil rig, Prussians, and these ones are the Chinese Federation. Now, recently with Wayland, they've been actually bringing out new models. So the battleship, the cruiser, and the frigate there are all of the new style, while this frigate over here is for the older style. The other models that I've been getting into recently has been from Warlord Games as well, called Black Sea. As you can see, it is a naval game in the age of sailing. It's very high detail models. All of that roping you have to do yourself. There's hardly any guides. The actual teal bits right here, they're actually plastic that you can cut off and shape and actually put on. But all the rigging is actually a whole heap of string that they give you. And as you can see, it will sometimes sag a little bit, so you have to just ever so slightly just move them to tighten up. So my faction that I've got is the Americans. The War of 1812. I have some small frigates. These are the custom super frigates that they used to ran. I've got some galleons, merchant ships. Yeah, there. Another frigate in between. I think that one's, which one is this? Yeah, that one right there is the President. Let's see, I might have to move it down, and you can see that the bow section has the actual writing on it as the USS President. And then the other two that I've got are for the super frigate is one's called the Old Ironside, which is USS Constitution. I've got Congress, and I can't quite remember. Might be USS United States anyway. So that is pretty much my gaming table for the most part, out here in the shed sort of thing. Unfortunately, there is not a lot of room for me to do too much gaming here these days. A 5-year-old will do that. But anyway, it's pretty good out here when I can get games happening. I do have a few other games that I haven't put out on display, like Games Workshop Grey Knights that I do for 40k, and Human Fantasy that I do for Kings of War, any old fantasy, Warhammer fantasy. I could theoretically use it as Age of Sigmar, but I as you can see, I've got too much games sort of thing, so I have cut down on trying to learn a lot, and I have started to shift away from doing a number of these games and just concentrating on bits and pieces. Feel free to comment if you would like to have a closer look at any of my various game factions. If you would like me to create a video specifically on one of the game systems that I play, if you want to see more sailing ships, or if you want to see the dystopian range that I've got, anything like that, please leave a subscription, a comment, and like and subscribe if you wish. Thank you, and pleasant gaming.